about that topic, right? So that's another way of coming to terms with where are my gifts. I know myself, if someone gets onto the topic of immigration back home, more so than here, but I would find myself pounding on the table. Everybody's equal in the Lord's eyes, and they shouldn't be treated like a dog. And I've already been in a grocery store line where there was a woman up front getting ready to check out, and she was clearly bilingual, but stronger in Spanish. And she didn't quite understand the cashier. And the cashier was just not a nice person to her. She was very short with her patience, and she was kind of cocky with her. And I was 3 or 4 steps behind, and I made my way up the front, and I spoke to her in Spanish, and I asked her what seems to be the problem. And it was a very simple thing. But some people just have a knack of not understanding others that might not speak your language, but we all put our cans on the same. And we're all the same, you know, we all bleed the same. We all have emotions and feelings. So my area where I find myself pounding on the table, that one of my areas is in immigration. So think about that, and you say, Lord, where are my gifts? Well, where are your areas where you're going to pound your fist? What do you find yourself thinking about most throughout the day? Not chocolate, but where are your gifts, okay? So go through, and on your own time, spend time with the Lord, and just ask Him, if you don't know where your gifts are, to show you, and not only show you, but help me, Lord, to develop these areas so that I can be a blessing to my friends and my family and others, and help the Lord recruit people through using you and your gifts. Okay, so we have discernment, evangelism, faith, giving, healing, helps, hospitality, knowledge, leadership, martyrdom, mercy, miracles, missionary, pastor, prophecy, service, and teaching, tongues, interpretation of tongues, voluntary poverty. Here's the thing, if you don't understand some of these, and they don't have enough meat for you there, just Google them. You can find a lot of context will come up that'll apply itself, and learn and ask the Lord then how to have Him tell you a little bit more about those areas. And chances are that's an area that's probably going to be one of your giftings. And the important thing is to stay in your lane. I always tell people it's neat to watch someone who delivers a word of knowledge for the Lord, and you say, wow, Lord, I want that. And then you see someone that their hands are being used to heal, and you say, wow, Lord, I want that. We can all be used in all the areas of our gifting that are out there, but there'll be specific areas that He'll fine-tune you in, and that you'll find He'll use you more than the other areas. And those are the areas that you need to actually stay in your lane. Don't try and covet another gift or covet someone else's anointing, because the anointing and provision come when you're in the will of the Lord again. So therefore, if you're in your lane, then you'll see the provision, and you'll see Him work mightily through you. But you can certainly ask the Lord to use you in all the gifts. And so that's the neat thing about being amongst others, is that we get to experience the gifts in all the areas, whether we're actually being used or whether we're actually seeing them being used. Okay. So, have you ever found yourself in a situation where you were stumped? You were thinking, Lord, you know, all right, so I have a gift in this area, but I don't feel like you're alongside of me and helping me with growing in this area. If you have, chances are He might just want to spend more intimate time with you. Sometimes we get focused with life and we're going through our day-to-day routines and we don't feel as connected. It's so important that we spend intimate time with the Lord, because in those moments is when He makes deposits. And the analogy that I use is a cell phone that's gone dead. We can plug it into the wall, but it's going to take a few minutes before it's fully charged, right? We can go about our day and we can say, okay, I'm going to give the Lord a few minutes right now before I head to work. Well, when you plug the cell phone in only for a few minutes, you only get what? A little bit of a charge. It's not until you're fully charged that you go beyond. He will deposit more into you once you're fully charged. So you actually have to spend the time to get fully charged and then to get that extra deposit. And that's where He'll take you up to another level and show you more about the gifts that He's given you and use you more. So when you feel like you're stagnant, you say, have I been spending enough intimate time with the Lord? Am I fully charged? Do I need to charge more? So that's a little key you can keep in check with. Turn with me to Timothy, 2 Timothy 1:6. 2 Timothy 1:6. Paul is a missionary apostle. And he reminds Timothy of the qualities necessary for a faithful minister of Jesus Christ. He tells Timothy to fan into flame the gift of God. He was encouraging him to persevere. It reads, "Therefore I remind you to stir up the gift of God, which is in you through the laying on of my hands." Now ask yourself if you are persevering or just trying to make it to the next day. Then turn around and watch the clock at work the next day until we get through another day. So are we just persevering? Are we just making it through another day? Or are we actually taking the time to plug in and fan into flame the gift of God? He then told Timothy to remember his call and use his gifts with boldness. Later, Paul then instructs Timothy to keep the truth in 2 Timothy 1:13 through 18. Timothy did not need new revelation or new gifts. He needed the courage and self-discipline to hang on to the truth and to use the gifts he had already received. Let's use the analogy